Mitch? You know what? I have a theory. Theory. The Washington Capitals decided to buy Cap Friendly so that no one could look up the Tom Wilson and Pierre-Luc Dubois contracts.
You can't see how dumb we're about to be.
What happened? What did Washington do today? They signed them. So in case you missed it, which is entirely possible, maybe you missed it. Maybe you just more, focused on the Islander stuff and didn't see it. The Washington Capitals traded for Pierre-Luc Dubois. They gave up Darcy Kemper, who is also not on a very good contract either, and he was also very bad in net last year for them. Got benched. But there are 7 years remaining at $8.5 million against the cap each of those 7 years for Pierre-Luc Dubois, who put up 40 points this season, Mitch.
And at best is a 60-point player, right? He's got two 60-point years with the Winnipeg Jets, 28 and 27 goals, respectively, in those years. So, like, that's clearly, I think his ceiling is a 60-point player, which is fine, but you don't pay a 60-point player. I guess we kind of did it with Bahorvat, but $8.5 million for 8 years. But it gets worse than that. I talked about signing bonuses before. Pierre-Luc Dubois is getting, I forget exactly how much, but I think it's like $2.5 million over the next 2 seasons in signing bonus money, paying him up to $11.3 million is his actual amount paid.
Yeah.
You don't pay $11 million for what is a 60-point player. That's just stupid.
11.25 this year, 11.35 the following year. Obviously dropped significantly after that. But why would you sign yourself up for this headache? He's been on 3 different teams, and all 3 teams were completely fine with him leaving.
With LA, he was there a year, 1 year, and they're like, no.
They didn't even make it through the whole year, and it was they were like halfway through, and they were like, who was it? Was it Kopitar? Maybe it wasn't. Someone said like guys are just playing for their stats at some point last year.
Sounds his stats weren't very good.
No, either. Right, but forgive me, I don't remember who it was.
Sounds like Kopitar. I believe you're right.
He was, some vet on the Kings mentioned that, and everyone was like, he's talking about Pierre-Luc Dubois. Makes sense. But he was a 40-point player last year. He's still young. Okay, he turns 26 in a few weeks here. But what I don't get it. Clearly they wanted out of the Darcy Kemper contract, which was bad, but they got maybe one of the few contracts that are worse.
Yeah, what was Darcy Kemper's contract anyways? I'm gonna have to go look it up. It can't be that bad.
I think it was 5 plus over the next 3 or 4 years.
So yeah, 5.25 over the next 3 years, $2 million worth of signing bonus money every year. Why would you give them that? That's such a dumb contract. Oh my! Why would you give Darcy Kemper signing bonus $2 million? They gave him $10 million of signing bonus money over a $26 million deal. That's so dumb. Why the hell would you do that? Anyways, they did, but they got rid of that to bring in Pierre-Luc Dubois, who, again, you're right. Worse contract. It's more money. Sure, he's younger and there's potential there, I suppose. But the toxic element is something that is very clear. He's probably a nice individual, but there's something he didn't want he wanted out of Columbus, and they made that happen.
Yep.
He was in Winnipeg for 5 seconds and he wanted out of there. Winnipeg is a nice city. It does get cold and there are mosquitoes, obviously, but like it's not that bad at all. Wanted out of there too. Was in LA 5 minutes and they're like, no, you have to go. We have to get rid of this. All within 3 years that happens. And now he goes to Washington and they're expecting, he's going to do big things here.
With who?
I don't think so.
With who?
Exactly. Exactly. His big years, as I mentioned before, were in Winnipeg, where he was attached to the hip. He was attached to Kyle Connor's hip. if you look at his natural stat trick page and amount of ice time played with when he was in Winnipeg, it was Kyle Connor more than anyone else, even goalies. And usually when you look at his skaters like TOI with anyone, goalie is number one because he's out there for the full 60 minutes. Not the case for Pierre-Luc Dubois. Kyle Connor, when you go out, so does PLD. They don't have a Kyle Connor over there in Washington. Say what you will about Alex Ovechkin, but he is slowing down, man.
He did not look good in the playoffs. And early in the year, early in the year was really bad. And then Mitch made a video about him, and then he started scoring goals at will after that. But what's the plan? Is he going to play center or is he going to play wing? Is a question, right? Like, do you have him as compete with Dylan Strome to be your top center? Like that team stinks. Then outside of Dylan Strome, an old Alex Ovechkin, Tom Wilson, who's getting paid till the sun explodes,
and not doing much. He also regressed, right? He's a 40-point player this year, Tom Wilson.
35-point player.
But pace it out, right? Or
Oh,
did he
okay.
play
Okay.
82?
74 games, but still.
Okay. Still. Where is Pierre-Luc Dubois supposed to like turn around? He's not a guy who's going to do this on his own. He has to play with someone. And you're right. Maybe he plays with Dylan Strome, who did turn things around here in Washington.
Sure.
But this makes absolutely no sense whatsoever for Washington. They gave the LA Kings a get out of jail card, and now they don't even have a goalie. They got Charlie Lindgren, who's 30 years old. Right. And sure, he had some good games in the playoffs, but Charlie Lindgren was a 9-11 goalie this year, 267. To me, that's not sustainable. At 30 years, he's not coming in and he's going to be your starter for the next 3 years. That's just not how it works. I understand goalies are voodoo, not to this extent. The Rangers completely exposed him in the playoffs, 864, 358. Like, no, Charlie Lindgren is not the answer. I don't think they've got someone in the wings. Do you?
No, I don't. There's not. I don't know what their plan is in net right now. I'm looking at their projected lineup for next year. Their second line, they have Pierre-Luc Dubois as the second line center with Connor McMichael and Tom Wilson on his wing.
Youch.
That is a if you want to have a $8.5 million 40-point player, that is the exact recipe to get that out of Pierre-Luc Dubois.
If you like that, make sure to subscribe to Up the Turnpike on Patreon for more exclusive New York Islanders content.